Hey guys, today I'll be showing you how to earn points via Binance Alpha volume trading. You will discover what Binance Alpha points are, how to trade daily on Binance Alpha, my experiences in the last 32 days of my Binance Alpha volume trading campaign, tips, recommendations, and strategies to get the most out of Binance Alpha without getting burnt. So what are Binance Alpha points? Binance Alpha points are a scoring system designed by Binance to evaluate your activity within the Binance Alpha and Binance Wallet ecosystem. These alpha points determine your eligibility for rewards like airdrops and TGEs. The higher your alpha points, the greater your chances of qualifying for these rewards. You can earn Binance Alpha points in two ways: via your balance and your trading activity. Binance Alpha points are the cumulative sum of your daily balance points and volume points over 15 days. In other words, your Binance Alpha points represent your activity in the Binance Alpha ecosystem over the course of the last 15 days. Any activity older than 15 days is not represented in your Binance Alpha points. You earn balance points based on the total value of the assets you hold in your Binance exchange and your Binance wallet. Eligible assets for these include all assets listed on Binance Spot, Binance Alpha, and stable coins like USDT and USDC. It also includes the assets you provided as liquidity on PancakeSwap for Binance Alpha. So if you are providing liquidity for a Binance Alpha pair, the value of the asset will also contribute to your balance points. Now, how are these balance points calculated? If you have between $100 to $999, you earn 1 point every day. From $1K to $9,999, you earn 2 points. From $10K to $99,999, you earn 3 points. And from $100K upwards, you earn 4 points. This means the maximum balance point you can earn is 4 points. The second kind of points are your volume points. You earn volume points based on the volume of the Binance Alpha tokens you buy. You only earn volume points by buying Binance Alpha tokens. Selling Binance Alpha tokens do not earn you any points. You can buy Binance Alpha tokens using USDT, USDC, or BNB. For example, BAY is a token on Binance Alpha. So buying 100 USDT worth of BAY on Binance Alpha gives me a $100 volume. If I sell BAY back for USDT, I won't earn any alpha volume points. So how are volume points calculated? Volume points are based on powers of 2 for your buy volume. What this means is that to earn a certain amount of volume points, let's call this volume point A, your buy volume needs to be 2 raised to power A for the day. So that means to earn 1 volume point, your buy volume for the day needs to be 2 raised to power 1, which is $2 buy volume. To get 2 volume points, your buy volume needs to be 2 raised to power 2, which is $4 for the day. To get 3 volume points, your buy volume needs to be 2 raised to power 3, which is an $8 buy volume. To get 4 volume points, your buy volume needs to be 2 raised to power 4, which is 16 for the day, and so on and so forth. So your Binance Alpha point is the sum of the balance point and volume point before 12 a.m. UTC every day. And your Binance Alpha points are updated 6 a.m. UTC every day. So right now I have an $11,000 trading volume. If I stop here by 12 a.m. UTC, it will be the start of another day. So my points will not update today, it will update tomorrow. So any points I earn by trading on Binance Alpha or my balance today will be reflected on my Alpha event by 6 a.m. UTC tomorrow. So that is how your Binance Alpha points work. Participating in Binance Alpha airdrops takes 15 points. If you claim a Binance Alpha airdrop today, that's minus 15 points, which will be updated the next day. So your Binance Alpha points represent the sum of your balance points, volume points, minus your airdrop participation points, if any, over the last 15 days. How do you get into the Binance Alpha campaign? You can get into the Binance Alpha campaign using your Binance mobile app. You cannot access the Binance Alpha campaign from your PC. The only thing you can do on your PC is to view the Binance Alpha listed tokens and trade them. But things like checking your Alpha events, points, and other campaigns are exclusive to the Binance mobile app. So first things first, ensure you have a verified Binance account and your mobile app installed. Open your mobile app and make sure you're on the home tab. On the home tab, you see some quick access shortcuts here. Right now, Binance Alpha event isn't one of them, but I'll show you how to add it. So here you will see your search bar. Tap on the search bar and type Alpha event. Tap Alpha events and you can see your Alpha event dashboard. So here you can see your Binance Alpha point history over the last 15 days. Since you will be participating in the Binance Alpha campaign every day, it is wise to add the Binance Alpha event to your home screen shortcut. So how do you do that? To do that, make sure you're on the home tab, tap more, tap the pencil icon here. So scroll to the gift and campaign section and you will find Alpha event here. To add it, tap the plus icon and you can see it here. Once you're happy, tap done. You can see that the Alpha event is part of the home screen shortcut. You can always access it by tapping on the Alpha event instead of having to search for it every time you need it. There are different kinds of events on Binance Alpha. For the airdrop events, you claim free tokens on a first come first serve or priority basis based on the amount of points you have. For the competition, you trade selected Binance Alpha tokens for a certain period and the top traders in volume are rewarded with the tokens they traded. In this case, your buy and sell volumes add up to your trading volume. So in some cases, it could be the top 10,000 traders, 8,000 traders, it depends on the competition. In the end event, you provide liquidity for Binance Alpha tokens. TGE is similar to Binance Launch Pool. You subscribe for the event using BNB. In some cases, you lock in your BNB for a selected period and you receive the Binance Alpha tokens. In other cases, it's like a pre-sale where you can buy the Binance Alpha tokens before they are launched using your BNB. The booster campaigns are like the GAX and Zilli campaigns where you perform some social or on-chain activities and earn rewards at the end of the campaign. I'll be talking about some of these events in my other videos, but the main purpose of this video is volume trading, which will qualify you for the airdrop event. So now that you've understood how Binance Alpha points work and the kind of rewards you will be earning on Binance Alpha, it's time for us to move into the volume trading. So how do you trade on Binance Alpha? Visit your home page and search for Alpha in the search bar. Tap Alpha and you see the Alpha trading dashboard. You can also access Binance Alpha on your home screen. You will see Alpha here. So these tokens here are Binance Alpha tokens. So if you tap on a token, it will take you to the chart for the token and you can use the drop down menu to select other tokens or search for other tokens using the search bar. You can also switch to the trade tab and tap Alpha to get to your Alpha trading dashboard. But my favorite method is by accessing Binance Alpha trading dashboard via the home tab shortcut. You can add the Alpha trading dashboard to your home tab shortcut just like we did with the Alpha event. To do that, make sure you're on the home tab, tap more, tap the pencil icon, scroll to the trade section, you see Alpha, tap the plus icon and tap done. So you can go back and now the Alpha Trading dashboard will be visible on your home tab. So once you open your Binance app, on the home tab you can just tap Alpha and it will take you to your Alpha Trading dashboard. There are two ways to trade tokens on Binance Alpha. One is the instant trading and the second one is the limit trading. But I will always recommend you use limit trading. Instant trading allows you to swap tokens quickly, while limit trading allows you to use your limit orders. Instant trades are just like regular swaps. They allow you to swap your tokens instantly at market price. For instant trading, there are different types of priorities. To change the priority, tap on this area. Priority on success means you are more interested in your trade executing immediately than your trade executing closer to the market price. For priority on price, it means you're more interested in your trade executing closer to the market price than executing at all. So if you choose priority on success, there's a higher chance of your trade executing than if your priority is set to priority on price. And this means that your slippage is usually higher for priority on success than on priority on price. If you don't understand what slippage is the difference between the price when you hit the buy button and the price when the trade is executed. For a custom priority, you can set the slippage that you want. So a higher slippage increases the chances of your trade executing, but it also means that you could get much lesser tokens than expected. Anyways, slippage can go both ways. For example, for this BAY token, the price is at 0.126. So if you place your order at this price and at the point of execution, base price increases to 0.127, you'll be getting lesser tokens than what you see here. If base price falls to 0.125 at the point of executing this trade, you'll be getting more tokens than what you see here. Instant swaps means you will end up spending ridiculous amounts in fees. For the purpose of this video, we will be using limit orders, as that is the recommended way to trade tokens on Binance Alpha. But don't worry, I will show you how to use limit orders such that you may not have to wait for long. In fact, your limit orders may even be faster than your instant orders if you have an order book in equilibrium and you use your limit reverse orders. One thing many users do which makes them to lose money on Binance Alpha is to visit the Binance Alpha trading dashboard, search for a token they like, and just start trading it blindly. You may end up buying high and selling low. In a day, you may lose so much in fees that you may not be able to recoup it from the airdrop that you get. So how do you trade smartly on Binance Alpha? One thing I will always advise you on Binance Alpha volume trading is that your goal should not be to make profits, like buying low and selling high. Your goal should be to minimize the fees you spend buying the tokens. So I always advise you to buy and sell at the same price or almost the same price. This allows you to execute your trades quickly and rack up your target volume for the day. If you try to buy low and sell high, you may end up being a community holder on Binance Alpha tokens. You are not supposed to hold Binance Alpha tokens. The first thing to do is to look for tokens with a stable price movement. One way to do this, the hard way, is by looking at the chart for the token. If you switch to the limit trade, you can view the chart by tapping this chart icon here. So if I tap the chart icon here, I can see that BAY is on an uptrend. This is not the kind of token I will want to trade on Binance Alpha, or rather, this is not the time to trade this token on Binance Alpha, because you will be trading on several green candles and you can be dumped on at any time. So the first thing I do when I visit a chart is to check the 15-minute time frame and see if the chart is stable. As you can see, this chart is highly unstable on the 15-minute time frame. And then if the chart is a bit stable on 15 minutes, I switch to the 5 minutes. So to change your time frame on the Binance Alpha chart, you can tap any of these icons here to select the time, or you can tap more to bring out more time options. So there are three types of charts on Binance Alpha. To change your chart type, tap on this drop down menu just above the price here, and you can see the alpha data source you want to use. The on-chain transactions are those transactions performed on the PancakeSwap on the DEX. Limit orders are performed off-chain on the Binance app here. So if you want your chart to combine both the on-chain data and limit orders on the Binance app, select this. If you want to see only the on-chain chart, select this. If you want to view the limit only chart, which shows only the limit orders for those using the Binance app, this is what you will use. See what I just said? If you had bought Bay at this point, you would have been in serious loss because you can see the big red candle here. So knowing when to buy a token and knowing the token to buy is one of the most important things on Binance Alpha. Otherwise, you will just be giving Binance your money every day. So now, what kind of chart do you want to look at on the Binance Alpha? For me, I recommend sticking to the limit data, since this is what we are working with. Since I will be trading only limit orders, I don't want to see the chart from the on-chain or a combination of on-chain and limit data. This is the kind of chart we are looking for on Binance Alpha. As you can see, this token is always oscillating at $48. You can see the highest point are still around 48.0, the lowest point are still around 47.98, and this is just a spike. So here, even on the 5-minute chart, you can see it is very stable. This is the kind of chart you will be looking for, but you may not find this kind of chart all the time. I wish I can find a chart that's similar to this, but most charts here are not stable. In fact, for the past 4 days, ever since BTG's Forex campaign ended, the volatility on Binance Alpha pairs have been extremely high. So this is the hard way of looking for a token to trade, because you just be scrolling through different charts, and maybe the time you left a chart that was not stable, the chart may have become stable. So what do we do? There is a tool you can use to find the pairs with the most stable price actions on Binance Alpha, and that tool is alpha123.uk/stability. So this is the tool I always use every day to check for the pairs with the most stable price movement before opening my Binance Alpha dashboard. How do you use this app? So once you're here, make sure you are on the stability tab, and here you can see the different tokens on Binance Alpha with the most stable price movement. So now, a token that you want to trade with immediately with limit reverse orders are tokens that have both green on the stability and spread BPS. You have a higher chance of getting in and getting out quickly without getting burnt when it is green both on the stability and spread BPS. BPS just means basis points, and it's a way to measure tiny percentages. So 1 basis point is 0.01%. So this BPS represents the changes in price at that point in time. So here we can see that tokens are really volatile now. Most tokens easily switch from being stable to being unstable or moderate. So now there are 3 states here. One is the unstable state. This means the price action is really volatile, and trading a token at that point will be at your risk. Stable means the price action isn't volatile. Then the price BPS talks about the price difference. The information here updates every 7 seconds. So you can see the timer here. So you can set an alert to beep when a token becomes stable and when a token becomes unstable. So what I would advise you to do is, when trading on Binance Alpha, if you have another device, maybe another phone or another PC, it's best to view the stability checker on the other device that you're not using to trade. For example, me, I usually view the stability checker on my PC, so I can see the status of the tokens in real time while I'm on my Binance Alpha dashboard. Because having to switch your screens between your stability checker and your Binance app might make you miss out on some event, because the idea of using this is to help you to get in and get out in less than 2 seconds, because there is always volatility. There are several categories of tokens on Binance Alpha. If I tap the drop down menu to select a different token, they are in categories based on the network and if they have a point multiplier system. Most of the time I deal with tokens on a points multiplier system. Now, what is a point multiplier system? Remember, your volume depends on how much of the token you bought. So if I buy $100 worth of a regular token on Binance Alpha, I get $100 volume. But if you buy a token with a multiplier, it multiplies your volume based on the multiplier for the campaign. So here on the points plus tab, you can see tokens that have multipliers. So some tokens have X2, which means your volume will be multiplied by 2. If I buy $100 worth of this token, my volume will be multiplied by 2, which means I'll be getting $200 volume instead of $100. For the X4, it means my volume will be multiplied by 4. So if I buy $100 worth of B, my volume will be $400. The multiplier tokens are tokens that we use to reduce our risk exposure, our time spent on trading Binance Alpha tokens, and the fees we spend. So any Binance Alpha token you trade, you pay a fee of 0.01%, and you can check that by tapping on the estimated fee here. This means that for every buy, you are charged 0.01%, and for every sell, you are charged 0.01%. Remember, to rack up Binance Alpha points, you need to buy, and sell until you meet your target. And I always recommend a minimum of 15 volume points daily. Otherwise, you may not be qualifying for airdrops after a 15-day period. So for 15 volume points, you need to accumulate a buy volume of $32,768. So this means if you have $1,000 in your portfolio, you need to make at least 33 buys and 33 sells to rack up your 33k volume. Now this exposes you to one, a 0.01% fee on your buys and sells. So 0.01% times 1,000. So once you buy a token, you are spending $0.1 in fees for every $1,000 you spend. And remember, you also sell the token to buy back again. So multiply this by 2. So a buy and a sell means you are spending $0.2 to accumulate a $1,000 volume. So to accumulate a 33k volume, you multiply this by 33. And this means that you will be spending nothing less than $6.6 in fees if you're buying and selling at exactly the same price. In a month, you'll be spending about $205 in fees. And realistically, you may not claim up to $204 in airdrops for that 15-day period. In fact, your first 15-day period is used to rack up points because you will not get enough points to qualify for the airdrop. The least points for airdrops in the last 32 days has been 210. If you are buying tokens without multipliers and you are very good at getting in and getting out at the same price, you will be spending about $7 every day for 15 volume points. That is why knowing how to trade 4x tokens is important. If I'm trading the 4x token, for me to get $1,000 volume, I only need to buy $250 worth of that token. So one, that has reduced my risk in terms of losses, and it has also reduced my fees. Let me explain. Let's say I jump into this common token blindly and I buy this token at 0.09176 and I use all my USDT, let's say 1121 USDT, and I get this amount of common. And because I bought at a very big green candle, it immediately dumps and I sell at 0.08. Do you see what happens? I have lost over $100 here. If I sell this token, what I'll be getting back is $977. So that is a huge loss for me. But this risk can be reduced by using the multiplier token. For the same price, if I buy $250 worth of this token and I get this amount and I have to sell at 0.008 for the same volume, you can see I'm only losing much less. So instead of losing almost $200, what I've lost here will be about $40. But even this is a very bad scenario, okay? We won't be getting this if you follow all the tips I'll be giving you in this video. But I'm just showing you how using multiplier tokens and using less of your portfolio reduces your risk and reduces your fees. So in terms of fees, what you will be spending per $1,000 volume will also reduce, because remember, we now need only $250 for 1k volume. Remember, our fee is 0.01% for any buy or sell. 0.01% times 250 means we'll be charged this amount for for buys. Remember, we also have to sell the token, so multiply it by 2. So instead of $0.2 before, when we used a non-multiplier token in fees per 1K volume, we are only spending 5 cents. So if you multiply this by 33, it means that our fees for a 33K volume has reduced to just $1.65, assuming we buy and sell at the same price. So buying and selling at the same price means the only thing you will be spending is the money you lose in fees. So having established this, let's go back to the stability checker. For multiplier tokens, the multiplier campaign lasts 30 days. So the 4x days is a countdown showing how many days are left for the token's 4x multiplier campaign. If you see 0 here, it means the token doesn't have a multiplier campaign, because Coach doesn't have a multiplier campaign, but it's still the most stable Binance Alpha pair out there. So for CDL, you have 6 days left for the multiplier campaign to end. For MEL, you have 13 days left for the multiplier campaign to end. Make sure you always check the 4x days multiplier before trading a token, because on the last day of the multiplier, or the day the multiplier ends, the token usually dumps massively. So make sure you are not trading a token on the last day of its 4x multiplier, because the volatility will be high and it is likely for the token to dump massively, leaving you in heavy losses if you are trading a green candle. So after looking at the stability checker, once you discover a token that is stable, let's use CDL for example. CDL is stable right now, so let's go to CDL and see what's happening. Now, one thing to note is that Code is the standard here for this stability checker. So the higher a token is above Code, the more stable the price movement is. So here the most stable price movement is on BIT. As you can see, these things change very quickly, and that is why I advise you to have a second device you use to check the stability checker while trading on Binance Alpha. So CDL has become unstable, so we cannot trade it at this point. Let's look at what is happening on BIT. So I switch to my 15-minute chart. You can see how the recent 15-minute chart is not much going up and down. So I changed to my 5-minute chart, and I see the same thing here, not much going up and down. So you can see the price movement isn't too much. So the next thing, I tap on trade and make sure I'm on the limit tab here, because we don't have any business using instant. So the next thing to do is to check your order book. This is the most important part of your limit orders. If you are not checking this limit order book, you will be wasting your time on limit orders. What you are looking for is for a limit order book that is in equilibrium. By equilibrium, I mean all the limit orders here are the same or almost the same. Right now, I don't have an equilibrium order book scenario, but I have some screenshot of some equilibrium order books, and I also have a video that shows an equilibrium order book and how to trade limit reverse orders in one of my journals. I'll link it when the time comes. Okay, here we have found a perfect order book. Here you can see everything is almost the same, and it just quickly left. So this is why you need to get in and out in as much as 1 or 2 seconds. Otherwise, you can miss a perfect order book scenario for you to rack up your volume. This is what I mean by an order book in equilibrium. You can see that all the entries in the order book are the same. If you find this kind of order book scenario, you have to kill it with limit reverse orders, and I will show you how to trade limit reverse orders. But first, I will also show you how to use limit orders. So to buy a token using limit order, make sure you're on the buy tab, enter the price you want to buy the token at. Here you can select the token you want to buy with. So here you can use USDT or USDC. So here you can pre-fill some amount that you'll be using regularly, or you can switch to the percentage tab to drag to enter the amount of USDT you want to buy. I don't usually recommend using this for buys, because you can make a mistake and you may not get the exact value you want. So for buys, I recommend you pre-filling the amount you use regularly. So tap on the dollar card here and tap the pencil icon. So here you can enter the amount of tokens you use regularly. So you just have to tap them and they'll pre-fill. Now all these things are useful because for your limit reverse orders, you need to be as fast as possible to take advantage of the orders in the order book. So any second you waste is an opportunity wasted, and you may have to wait for a few more minutes or hours, as the case may be, to get another perfect entry. So once you've entered the amount of token you want to buy, then you tap buy. So this buy sets your limit order. Once the price in the order book gets to that point, it buys. To sell, tap the sell tab, enter the price you want to sell at. Now here you can drag to sell all your tokens and tap sell. So that's how to use limit orders, but this is a risky way of using limit orders. Like I said before, the idea of using limit orders is for you to be able to buy and sell immediately or almost immediately, so that you are not affected by price movement and you will only be limited to the estimated fees for executing the trade. This is where reverse orders come into play. To use reverse orders, tap the checkbox next to reverse order. What is a reverse order? A reverse order is simply saying buy this token at price A, and if this order is filled, immediately create a sell order to sell this token at price A or price B. So this means that you don't have to go to the sell tab to start entering the amount you want to sell and clicking sell. It does this instantly. So the best scenario for limit reverse orders is the perfect order book, because the orders will execute instantly. For me to use a limit order, I have to copy the price here, paste the same price here, enter the amount of USDT I want to buy with. I usually use 2250 to create a 1K volume. Tap buy. Once you tap buy, it will ask for a confirmation. So this means that if this token buys at this price, it automatically opens a limit order to sell at the same price. So let me see if I can find a perfect order book. So for this purpose, I'll be using 0.2 USDT for the purpose of making an example. Another way to be fast about your limit reverse orders is by tapping on the order in order book for it to pre-fill where you want it to fill. If you start typing here for the limit price you want to sell, you will be left behind. So it's best to tap on the order here that you want to fill. So I can tap on this order and it pre-fills here in the price. I go to the reverse order and also tap on an order here and it pre-fills. This is assuming we have an equilibrium order book. Right now the order book isn't in equilibrium. So instead of making this video too long and waiting for a perfect order book scenario, I have a video of my journal where I had an order book in equilibrium for a significant amount of time. So you can see how I use limit reverse orders in the video at the top of your screen to buy and sell immediately when I have an order in the order book. So for this case, since I don't want to wait for a perfect order, let me use Coach, which price is stable. So let's go to Coach. So here you can see Coach almost always has order books in equilibrium. To experiment the limit reverse orders, I tap on an order here. So okay, this is for sell. I tap on the same order here for buy. So this is not the same price, so let me tap again. So you can see this is what I mean by a perfect order book. Here you can see the orders are the same. So if I set this to 0.2, okay, so let me try to predict the next order here. So let me change this because it's always fluctuating. Let me change this here. So let's just use this for an example and see if it will peak. So you see why you need to be on the chart, so you can easily take advantage of the orders because they change quickly. So once I enter the amount of USDT I want to sell, I can click buy Coach. So this shows me the price that I'm buying at for the limit order, and this shows the price I'm selling at once this order peaks. So if I tap confirm, you can see that this order is open. You can see how it feels immediately because it has seen the same order in the order book. So this is how you capitalize on a perfect order book scenario to buy and sell in as fast as 1 second. So let's see if I can find another perfect scenario here. 1, 2, okay. Make sure you are using the same prices for your buying and for your sell, so you don't make losses on your orders. So let me enter the amount again here. Now another thing you need to do, I wish I had an order book in equilibrium here. One thing you need to do is that since these orders change, once you hit the buy, you can still see the preview of the order book movement here. although it has a lesser opacity. So look at this preview to see if the orders in the order book are still the same before hitting confirm, because once you hit confirm, it's gone. So if I hit confirm, the order has been sent. So now it's almost at the price I set. And another thing, sometimes your orders may be filled and it may still show as an open order. In that case, you just need to refresh the page to confirm that your order has been filled. So once you refresh the page, you can see here there is no order here. But if I was looking at this, I would have thought that my orders were not filled. So these are some of the things you need to know to take advantage of the volatility and the fast pace of the order book system on Binance Alpha. One of the major problems you will face when using limit reverse orders in cases where the order book is in equilibrium, that's where all the orders, as in this case, are the same or almost the same. You can see it's the last digit are 778 and sometimes 779. One of the problems you will face in this scenario is, for example, I've set my limit orders to buy at the last 777 and sell at the same price. Is that once you click on the buy, before you can confirm your order, you will see that the limit orders will change by just the last digit, which means your order may not pick. So I have here 777 and it has increased to 7781. So let's say I had it at 7780 and now you can see 7781. This means your order will not pick. But there's one thing you need to know, and you should be very careful when using limit orders, is that if you create a buy order at a price that's higher than what is available on the order book, it will pick immediately. But if you place a price that is lower, even if it's just by one last digit, it will not pick. So when you are placing limit orders, always check that you are not buying at a higher price than what's on the order book, to the point that if you want to sell, you may not be able to sell. Now that is the trick we want to use here. Another thing to note is that if you are selling and your limit entry is lower than what is on the order book, it will pick. This is the idea we will be using for the limit reverse orders if you want your orders to pick immediately. So you can see the limit orders are 786, 785. Let's say you have observed the orders to be at 785 and you want them to pick, but you are scared that if you click the buy and confirm, it will immediately change to 786 in the order books. Now what you do is to increase the last digit by just 1 or 2 and leave the sell order the same place where you wanted to buy. So let's say, for example, in this case, I have 787 here and I put 787. You can see that the price has increased to 788. So if I click this, it will not buy. So what do? I can increase this to 789, knowing that it will be higher than what is available on the order book, and it will pick immediately and sell at a lesser price or whatever at the same price. But you know that this difference is almost 8 decimal places, so it's going to be an infinitesimal difference. It's going to be almost as if you're buying and selling at the same price. So if you want to buy and sell immediately and you are scared of the order books changing by just 1 or 2 digits, increase the buy price by the last 1 or 2 digits and leave your sell price lower than the buy price, and it will peak immediately because your price will be higher than what's on the order book, or it might get to the same point, then you sell immediately. So let me wait for an example here. Okay, so we have here 92, let's say 93, and this is 93, and I'm scared it may get to 94. So what do? I just simply increase this to 94, or better still 95, and I click buy. So you can see here it's higher than what's on the order book by just the last digit. So the only difference here is 0.00000002. So if I do this, I can immediately confirm, and you can see that my order has been filled and has been sold immediately. So you can use this trick to beef up your limit reverse order so that you don't have to spend more than a few seconds waiting for your order to pick just because of a decimal place that is after 7 zeros. One more thing, if I have more than one token that are stable both on the stability and spread BPS, I will go with the one that has a higher price. So let me show you what I mean. So in this case, let's assume B2 and CDL were the two tokens I discovered that were stable on the stability checker, and CDL's price is about 0.071, while B2's price is around 1.18. In this case, I would go with B2. Why? B2's price is much higher than that of CDL, which means a fluctuation in price of B2 will have lesser effect on my portfolio than that of CDL. as much as possible, I avoid tokens in the form of 0.0x or 0.00x, because little fluctuations in the price of these tokens will have greater impact on your portfolio than tokens that have whole numbers, for example 1.5 or 0.8. So once a token has an extra zero, I'm always wary of trading it, because little fluctuations will mean your portfolio could even lose 10% or 5% of its value. That doesn't mean I will never use tokens that are in the form of 0.0x as the prices, but I will only use them in cases like this where I can confirm an order book in equilibrium or where I have no other option and my risk alert will be so high. Let's assume B2 and AT were stable on my stability checker. I would rather trade B2 because the price is higher. If EVA and BTG were found to be stable on my checker, I would go with BTG. As I've always said, the goal is to minimize your risk and fees. Sometimes you may not find a pair with a stable price movement from the stability checker because of the volatility. Whenever you are in doubt, use Coach. Coach has always been stable at $48 for months now. You can see the chart, it has always been at $48. The only thing here is that you will be spending higher amounts in fees since there is no multiplier to reduce the amount you're buying with. Now, many people have been asking me, what is the minimum I need to trade with on Binance Alpha? I've always said there is no minimum, but to be realistic, you need a minimum of $250 to trade on Binance Alpha. Another thing to note when trading limit reversed orders is that you will be canceling a lot of orders. So if you happen to find an order book in equilibrium, let's say I tap my price here and I want to buy this token, I tap it here and it goes here, and before I tap here I can see that the price has changed and it doesn't peak, immediately cancel the order. If it doesn't peak in 5 to 10 seconds, just cancel the order and set a new order. This prevents you from setting orders that peak when the chart is dumping, because when it doesn't peak, you may see that it is going up, and if it starts dumping, it may end up picking your entry and start dumping without picking the order limit reverse sell. So let me set an unreasonable trade here to show you how to cancel. So let's put this at 0.11. So I'm buying a new main and I confirm this. So now I've waited and this trade is not forthcoming. There are two ways to cancel. One is to use cancel all if you have multiple orders, and one is to use cancel. The fastest is to use cancel because it doesn't bring any prompt. If you tap cancel all, it will ask for a prompt, and before you may have confirmed or canceled the prompt, the order may have picked. So the best way to cancel an order quickly is to tap on this cancel. It doesn't give any prompt and you can quickly cancel your orders. Another thing I would advise you is don't open multiple orders. If you find out you've gotten into a bad trade, don't open another trade. It's better for you to wait for your trade to either get to your entry or you quickly sell the trade in a little loss than to start opening another trade. Remember, if you open another trade while your first buy hasn't been sold, you are increasing your risk. So let's say I have a trade of $250 that is open. I bought and immediately the token started dumping. Even if I see a perfect order book entry, I wouldn't make another trade, because making another trade is now making my buy to be $500, and that is increasing my risk by 2. So I'd rather wait for the entry to get to my break even or close to my break even or close in the little loss than exposing more of my portfolio to risk. Remember, I only want to expose $250 of my portfolio to risk, to whatever risk possible. You may not understand what I'm saying, but let me show you what happened to me in the last 30 days. So you can see here I have a sheet where I track everything I do on Binance Alpha. I track my volume, the points I earned, and how much it cost me to get those points. I also track the average fees I spent for 15 volume points and 14 volume points. For the first 2 days of my Binance Alpha trading, I didn't know about the stability checker. I only discovered it when I encountered a huge loss on my second day. So you can see I started trading Binance Alpha on October 3rd, 2025, and I racked up a 17k volume for 14 points. Now on the second day, I got into a bad trade. I still remember the token. It was P. I bought the token and it started dumping massively. Because I had used all my portfolio to buy, I was scared when it started going into $140 loss, so I closed at $140 loss there. And I decided to fight back, call it revenge trading. I looked for another pair ever. I saw it had already dipped and I was hoping for it to bounce back. I bought and I lost an extra $140. So that day I closed with a $282 loss. And that was when I realized that I needed a way to check for tokens with stable price movement so that I would just be comfortable spending only the estimated fees. And that was when I discovered the Alpha Stability Checker. My fees reduced drastically, but then I was still exposing my full portfolio to risk. And then I met another huge loss again on the 19th of October, which I lost $88. It was on a MyX trade, MYX. I held this trade for 2 days, as you can see here. The next day, which was 20th, I couldn't trade because it was my Binance Alpha phone that was stuck on this trade. The day I closed this trade in $88 loss, it took less than 30 minutes for my X to pump to my entry and even pumped above my entry. So you can see exposing your full portfolio to risks makes you to trade emotionally because your risks become higher. If I was using only $250, my loss would have been $25 and I would have been able to hold till break even. This is why I don't advise you to use your full portfolio, especially when you're using Forex multiplier tokens. Use only $250. One trade, you get your 1K volume and you keep on going like that. So you can see since then, I have been using only $250 for my trades. And you can see my fees have been consistently low, even despite the increased volatility for the days. In total, it cost me about $443 throughout October for the 30 days of my trading. But I recovered some of those losses though, because I made some trades. Every day I make a loss, I try to make a spot trade. So I recovered most of my losses. In the whole of October, I claimed only one airdrop and it was first come, first serve, and it was worth $434. So in all, my losses in October were about $196 since I didn't claim any other airdrop here. These recommendations, tips, and strategies have come from my last 32 days of trading on Binance Alpha. So I have made the mistakes, I have worked the hard part so you don't have to. There are two types of airdrop claims in the airdrop event. We have the first come, first serve and the priority claim. For the priority claim, everyone who qualifies based on the point threshold can claim the airdrops throughout the duration of the event. So you don't need to rush, you can claim anytime you like. So the first come, first serve, as the name implies, you claim the airdrop on a first come, first serve basis. So only the fastest can claim. How do you claim your airdrops in the airdrop event? So first, launch your Binance app and make sure you're on the home tab. Then tap Alpha Event. If you don't have Alpha Event in your home screen shortcut, tap the search bar and search for Alpha Events. So here you can tap Alpha Events to visit your Alpha Events dashboard. On your Alpha Events dashboard, tap Airdrop. So here you can see the details about the airdrop. You can see how many tokens you can claim and what it will cost you to claim. Usually claiming an airdrop costs you 15 points. You also see the point threshold for the airdrop. In other words, how many points are required to claim the airdrop. If you qualify, you will be able to claim. If you don't qualify, you can only watch. Usually, if you qualify for an airdrop, 4 minutes to the claim time, there will be a pre-risk check. Most times that involves you having to complete a face verification. So make sure you are in a well-lit area where you can scan your face and complete the face KYC. Without completing the pre-risk check, you can't claim the airdrop, even if you qualify. So once you complete the pre-risk check, you wait for the countdown to get to 0. You'll see a claim button. You tap on claim. It will load a captcha. You complete the captcha and you can claim. So how do you sell your airdrop once you've claimed? After claiming your airdrop, go back to your Binance Alpha. You can do that by tapping trade and make sure you're on the Alpha tab. Search for the token you just claimed. Let's assume I claimed folks. Tap on it and navigate to the sell tab. So you can sell via limit or instant orders as I've shown you earlier. So that's how to claim your rewards in the airdrop event. Another thing I'll advise you to do is always to keep track of whatever you're doing on Binance Alpha So as you can see, I track all the airdrops I claim in a month. I also track my fees and activities for the month. So I know everything I have done in the month. I know how much I have spent. I know how many points I've earned, and I know the average fees I'm spending. So I know if I'm losing or if I'm making any profit within a month. So I created a Google Sheet to track all my progress. So on a good day, it cost me $1.77 to rack up 15 volume points on Binance Alpha, and it cost me $1.32 to rack up 14 point volume on Binance Alpha. And that's why I quickly changed my target from 14 points to 15 points. So on a good day, you'll be spending about $2 to rack up 15 volume points if you use all the strategies I've shared here. So that leads me to the final thing. So many people have been asking me, is the Binance Alpha trading worth it for you? So now I have a definite answer for them, having traded Binance Alpha for the past 32 days. Ignoring the bad days that I had when I didn't have much knowledge, I would say Binance Alpha trading is worth it because only one airdrop I claimed had covered my fees. But if I put in the realistic outcomes, factoring in my mistakes and the huge losses I took for the mistakes, I would say it's not worth it. October was a very bad month for Binance Alpha traders, not just for me, because most of the airdrop were worth peanuts. Most of them were about $20 to $50. It was just the 80 airdrop that was worth something reasonable, and there were hardly any priority airdrops in October. I think it was just one priority airdrop in October. That is why you must optimize your fees. So don't make mistakes that will make you spend more than $7 a day in fees. You should be spending an average of $2 in fees for 15 volume points. Otherwise, you may not be able to recoup your investment. Will I continue Binance Alpha trading? Yes. Do I recommend you start Binance Alpha trading? Yes. Following all the guides, the tips, and the strategies I've shared in this video. If you can follow them, you will minimize your risks to a very large extent. And in a few weeks, you will become an expert at finding your strategies. I've been thinking of selling this Google Sheet, but I would rather have it as a donation. If you want to send in a donation for the Google Sheet, you can just send it to the address in the description or in the pinned comment. If you still need the Google Sheet, but you don't want to make a donation, you can type "I need the Google Sheet" in the comment and I'll reply as fast as possible. So that's it about Binance Alpha volume trading. If this video has helped you, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any issues or questions, let me know in the comments or in my Telegram group. You'll find a link to the group in the description. Join my Telegram channel for more Binance Alpha updates, crypto airdrops, tips, and tutorials. Don't forget to check out my video for a very good practicalization of the limit reverse orders, so you can see the limit reverse orders in action. So stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.